In this video, I'll be showing you the 10 best and most important vehicles you can own in GTA Online going into 2023. This list has changed a little bit since last year. We have some new additions as well as some vehicles that no longer make the cut. So if you enjoy this video, a thumbs up would be awesome. Subscribe for more stuff like this, and let's jump into number 10. At this spot, I've got the Terabyte. It's moved a couple spots down from last year, and one of the main reasons for that is the Brigade 6x6, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But nonetheless, the Terabyte is still an extremely important and powerful vehicle in the game. First things first, this thing is an absolute tank. It can take 34 rockets before it's going to get blown up, so that will provide you a lot of protection from griefers. But there's a couple of other features that make this vehicle really stand out. First of all, buying this vehicle and doing the client jobs required will get you the trade price on the Oppressor Mark II, so that right there is going to save you $1 million. But also, this vehicle's overall capability of helping you make money is pretty huge. The first way to make money with it is through the client jobs in the back of the Terabyte on the touchscreen. The two best ones are robbery in progress and diamond shopping. This robbery in progress right here, for example, only took me 3 minutes. I think 3 minutes and 2 seconds, and I got $30,000. So that's a really efficient way to make money. On top of that, you can use this touchscreen at the back to source supplies for almost every single one of your businesses. This is going to save you flying out to those businesses or even going back to your arcade with your master control terminal. Overall, this vehicle can save you a lot of time and make you a fair bit of money as well, so it still deserves a spot in the top 10. At number 9, still well and truly deserving of a spot in the top 10 is the Armored Kuruma. This vehicle is amazing for a number of reasons. First one is it's only $525,000 with the trade price, so it's the cheapest vehicle on this list, which of course is going to make it great for beginners. But even if you're not a beginner, this is still one of the most useful vehicles you can own. Now, no, the Armored Kuruma can't tank any rockets, so anyone trying to grief you with explosives will be able to kill you. That's the one downside. Outside of that, it's all upside. The windows in the Armored Kuruma are basically completely bulletproof. There are a few angles where you can still get shot from, but personally, I rarely find myself taking any damage. For some reason, even though the bullets are mostly bulletproof, you can still shoot out of this thing, which makes you very, very hard to kill, not only in PvP, but mainly for PvE content. And speaking of PvE content, this is going to be, I would say, a top 2 vehicle that you can complete missions in. Most armored vehicles you cannot actually use in missions, contact missions, heist preps, any of that. But the Armored Kuruma, you can, which makes it incredibly useful and a vehicle you should own. At number 8, very, very similar to the Armored Kuruma is the Night Shark. Now, if you wanted to, you could substitute the Night Shark out for the Insurgent Pickup Custom, but this list is mainly going to be focused on solo play, and in that aspect, the Night Shark slightly takes the edge. The Night Shark can tank around 20 homing missiles, so it's going to provide you a lot more protection than the Armored Kuruma. Just like the Kuruma, it can also be used in missions, which is incredibly useful. And again, just like the Kuruma, the windows are almost 100% bulletproof. Now, I do have to emphasize that they are almost bulletproof. If a player shoots you at the right angle, they will 100% be able to kill you much more easily than they would in the Armored Kuruma with bullets. But for PvE content, you are gonna be mostly, almost completely bulletproof. The Night Shark is definitely one of the best vehicles for free mode as well in terms of countering Oppressor Mark II griefers, and overall, it's a lot of fun to drive around. Okay, moving up the list to number 7, we have a vehicle that has fallen a lot since last year, and that's the Toreador. The Toreador is essentially the Stromberg Mark II, if you're familiar with that vehicle. It's a rocket-powered car that can shoot some of the best homing rockets in the game. Like, seriously, look at the footage on your screen. These rockets track so aggressively, it's wild. It can tank a handful of rockets before it's gonna blow up, and it's a submarine car, so it can go underwater and be stored in your Kasaka submarine, so that provides it a lot of utility. This is absolutely one of the best cars you can drive around in free roam. The only reason it's dropped on this list from last year, where I think it was at number 3, is because you can no longer use this car in missions. This was the best vehicle to use in missions, so that's pretty disappointing, but overall, still a really good vehicle and one of the best counters to the Oppressor Mark II. At number 6, we have the new Acid Lab. Now, technically, the Acid Lab isn't really a vehicle. The Acid Lab is what's stored in the back of this vehicle. The vehicle itself is called the Brigade 6x6. However, you don't actually need to buy a Brigade 6x6 to get the Brigade 6x6. Is that confusing? I feel like Rockstar made that really confusing. In order to unlock this vehicle, you need to complete the 6 first dose story missions. From there, you'll be able to buy the Acid Lab for $750,000 inside the Freak Shop. Once you have the Acid Lab unlocked, you can call it to you whenever you want through your services menu, and this vehicle can tank 48 rockets. Yes, 48. That basically means no one in free roam is going to be able to actually blow you up. If they want to kill you, they're going to have to shoot you, and even then, that's going to be somewhat difficult because the windows are bullet resistant. They'll take a handful of bullets before the glass will actually break, so even if they do shoot you with a gun, you're going to have a fighting chance and likely the opportunity to kill them before they can kill you. It's genuinely wild that a vehicle like this exists, because not only is it way more durable than a tank in free roam, it's also got a business in the back of it with the Acid Lab, which can make you over $60,000 passively an hour. Overall, an incredible vehicle and well deserving of its spot. At number 5, we have the Akula. This is, in my opinion, the coolest helicopter in the game. Not only is this helicopter incredibly powerful, it's got homing rockets, a 50 cal machine gun on the front, as well as a barrage bomb. Those aren't even the actual main features of the helicopter. The main feature is its ability to go stealth mode. When you activate stealth mode, you won't be able to use your weapons, but you will be completely off the radar to everyone else in the lobby, and I cannot stress how huge that is. Whether you're sourcing CEO crates, trying to sneak up on someone to kill them, or you're just trying to mind your own business in a public session, the stealth mode is one of the best features in the entire game. It is a very pricey vehicle though, with the normal price being $3.7 million and the trade price being just over $2.7 million, but I would definitely have to say it is worth that price tag, and it's one of the best vehicles in the game, so pick it up. At number 4, it's dropped down a lot from last year. It was number 1 last year. It's the Oppressor Mark II. Ever since it was introduced, the Oppressor Mark II obviously was broken, so it's been copping nerf after nerf almost every single year. A couple of years ago, the big nerf was reducing the rockets from unlimited to only 20 rockets in the Oppressor Mark II, and this last year, the latest nerf is massively reducing how aggressively the rockets track, as well as heavily increasing the amount of time between countermeasures. So now more than ever, the Oppressor Mark II is way less of a powerhouse than it ever has been. However, it's still a really convenient and good vehicle to use. One of the most convenient things about the Oppressor Mark II, and why it's most likely still the most used vehicle in the entire game, is because how easy it is to spawn it right next to you. This is technically classed as a motorbike, so you can get your mechanic to deliver it. You can also get it delivered through the Terabyte menu, or if you're an MC president, you can spawn it quite literally right at your feet. So while the vehicle has definitely copped some huge PvP nerfs, the Oppressor Mark II is well and truly still one of the best vehicles for grinding money in the game, simply because you can spawn it right next to you and be on your merry way. At number 3, I kind of want to include a whole category of vehicles here, and those are the Amani Tech vehicles, but if I had to pick 1 or 2, it would be the electric vehicle variants of the Amani Tech vehicles, and I'll explain why. Unlike the rest of the Amani Tech vehicles, which take 4 RPGs to blow up, the electric vehicle ones take 12 RPGs to blow up. Is this intended by Rockstar? I actually think it is. I think their reasoning for it is because it doesn't have a normal combustion engine, it's not going to explode as easily. So for that reason, the electric vehicle ones, so the Omnis EGT, as well as the Virtue that's coming into the game early 2023, those two are going to tank more rockets than the rest. But let's talk about overall, why are the Amani Tech vehicles so good? Well, the reason for that is because they can get a missile lock-on jammer. That's right, with the Amani Tech vehicles and a missile lock-on jammer, no one in the lobby is going to be able to use homing rockets on you, whether that's from a vehicle, a rocket launcher, none of it. They're actually going to have to aim and hit their shots. It's going to take some skill. And even then, if they do use their skill to take you out, like I said, with the electric vehicles, it's going to take 12 RPGs. The only trade-off to the Omnis EGT is, unlike the rest of the Amani Tech vehicles, this one isn't going to have bullet resistant windows. So that's a trade-off you're gonna have to choose. Do you want more explosive resistance or a little bit more bullet resistance? It's up to you. Personally, I'm gonna take the explosive resistance, which is why most of the community considers the Omnis EGT better than the rest. At number 2 is the Sparrow. This helicopter is stored in the back of your Kasatka submarine, and this thing is awesome for grinding money. The main reason for that is when you're running the Cayo Perico heist, being able to store this helicopter in the submarine makes your setup missions just so much quicker. On top of that, it's also the fastest helicopter in the game, and on top of that, you can spawn it right next to you whenever you want through your Kasatka menu. Are you ready for it? On top of that, that's right, this vehicle keeps getting better. In mid-2022, Rockstar added countermeasures to the Sparrow. It didn't have countermeasures before, and even then, it was still one of the best vehicles in the game. So now if someone tries to attack you while you're in your Sparrow, you're gonna still be able to have a fighting chance of getting away. The Sparrow, like most helicopters, can be kitted out with homing rockets, unlimited homing rockets as well, which is nice. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of this vehicle. It's the best helicopter for making money in the game, along with being the fastest. So this vehicle well and truly deserves the number 2 spot. And at number 1, we all knew it was coming. It is the Kasatka submarine. It's moved up from the number 2 spot last year up to the number 1 spot because of the Oppressor Mark II nerf. And the Kasatka, well, it's still a beast. This is the vehicle you need to start up the Cayo Perico heist in GTA Online, and even though that heist has been nerfed, now with a 3-hour cooldown between heists if you're doing them solo, even then, just one Cayo Perico heist is going to make you about $1.5 million in just 1 hour. That is huge. That's better than anything else in the game. And if we're just talking about the Kasatka itself, like just the vehicle, it's great. It can store your Torador, it can store your Sparrow in it, and on top of that, you can put guided missiles on it so you can guide your missile from the safety of the ocean and try and kill people that are on shore. When we're talking about vehicles you need to buy, the Kasatka is well and truly at the top of the list. So we'll wrap the video up there. If you enjoyed, if it helped you out, a thumbs up would be awesome. Subscribe for more stuff like this. Hope you're staying safe, and I will see you in the next video. Boys!
Color money green paper. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade. Had my first kid, I was only 17. Always a provider for my pack like Wolverines. But you won't find me on the mountaintop.